creepy things we witness every day. And have been witnessing since we were little kids. But it's a very unknown thing. What is creepiness? It's a very good question. Yeah, in creepy things, sometimes things make sense and they don't. The things that make sense, like a spider, a scorpion, or a bee, or anything like that, is something very clear to us, and we know why we fear them or why it's creepy to us. But the creepy things are the things that don't make sense, and doesn't have a very obvious danger. Something like a crazy bird from Sesame Street, or Bert, like we say in the Netherlands. Yeah, he's kind of creepy if we see the picture. What gives it the creeps? Well, Stephen King, the big horror writer, he names 3 different types of scary stuff. First of all, the gross out. That are the disgusting things like puke and blood and things like that. After that he names horror. For Stephen King is this the unnatural, like a gigantic spider.
Fresh meat when it wanders so willingly into our midst. Goodbye, friend of Hagrid.
Can we panic now?
Or a humongous beast or anything like that. And at last he names terror. It's a feeling that someone is behind you or somebody is in the room, and then when you take a look over your shoulder you see nobody's there. But still it gives an amount of fear to you, and you feel weird and you want to get out of the room. Yeah, kinda like that.
Probably the most important thing said about creepiness is that everything that is creepy is vague. And the creeps also have something like ambiguity to it. But what is ambiguity? Well, something without a certain meaning that can be interpreted in various ways. In other words, it's vagueness. An example of ambiguity things are masks and clowns. But why are masks creepy? The facial disguise eliminates the social interaction between humans. It hides its face and its expressions, which are emotions and attitude. Even happy and neutral masks are creepy because they are vague. I don't know if a person wearing a mask is a threat or not. The fact alone will scare us humans because we can't decide if it's a threat. Vagueness is creepy when it comes in human form. This is the famous uncanny valley. On the chart of humanness, there's a zone where something can be almost entirely human, but off just by a little, not so wrong. That is a fake or a funny thing. Instead, the thing that makes it off gives us creeps. It just gives us trouble. But what is an uncanny valley? An uncanny valley is something that seems to be very human, but still has something different to it, that it can cause a type of reaction to somebody. This is well demonstrated by John Bergerson, Singing Androids.
Fantastic. Hey, hey. Watch this if you're alone. The uncanny valley is the zone which the brain has difficulties with to explain. It's a zone between the odd and the normal explainable things. The brain sometimes reacts with a feeling of danger or no danger at all when seeing something within this zone. It isn't very clear if the brain will react with safe feelings or with danger feelings. Well, that could be the definition of creepiness. Sometimes certain pictures give you a feeling that can happen to you, like this picture. Another creepy unexplainable feeling is cognitive dissonance. What is that? Cognitive dissonance is a state of having inconsistent thoughts, attitudes, or decisions. Like the feeling that it is very easy to push someone off a high cliff. Yes, even like this. In our normal life, how easy is it with our everyday things to murder someone, like driving our car, cutting carrots and just make a slip. Well, just think about it. That's the definition of creepy.
I think that by now we have an answer to the question, why are things creepy, or why do things creep us out? Being creeped out has something to do with a signal coming from our brains telling us that something or some situation you're in might be dangerous to you. Things we know are dangerous, they scare us, like toxic animals or other frightened creatures, or even people with guns. They scare us. They are known to be dangerous, they can threaten your life, it's a fact. But there's no creepiness involved in there. But if we are unsure whether we are under threat or not, that's when things get creepy. Think of the vaguely threatening doll of horror movies, or not being able to see in a suddenly dark room, or footsteps behind you in an isolated room. That's creepy, right? We don't know for sure that we are in danger, but we don't feel safe either, and that's creepy. So other than scary things, creepy things almost always have some kind of fakeness to it. But it still depends on what somebody does with things they see or experience. It depends on how someone interprets the situation. That's what we call ambiguity. You can compare it with masks, like discussed before. A mask only shows one emotion, but the person behind the mask can have a completely other emotion on his face. You don't know the intentions of the person behind the mask, and that's what frightens you. That's what's really creepy. The reason why it feels creepy is because the brain can't determine what to do with the things they experience. There's an undetermined zone between the safe and dangerous but explainable things that happen in life. The brain has like two different areas, and it's just very hard to place your experiences in one of those areas to determine if it's creepy or not. Everybody reacts in a different way to those unknown and undetermined feelings. For example, do we find this creepy?
Listen to Remco's Baby Laugh a Lot. You're listening to Baby Laugh a Lot. She's the funniest doll you've ever seen. Just push the button and she starts to giggle. Get Baby Laugh a Lot by Remco.